Hello there. How are you? Hi, g'day, howdy, how are you? Greetings. This is video 3. Who is Jim, Sir Gilligan Horry? That's me. Sir Gilligan Horry is my nickname, and it was about 10 years ago that I first started posting messages in UseNet, otherwise known as Newsgroups, and I was interested in astronomy, technology, intelligence, UFOs, ETs, and some other subjects. And so I was mainly in a news group called ALT.ALIEN.RESEARCH and ALT.ALIEN.VISITORS, and I've been there for approximately 10 years under different nicknames, but mainly it was in the days when Harry Potter was popular and well known with the Harry Potter books. And I couldn't think of a name for myself, I couldn't think of a nickname for myself. I wanted a nickname that would be original, a nickname that no one in the Hollywood movies would take probably, a nickname that no president of any country would ever use. And so I took the name Harry Potter and swapped the O and the A, and the name became Horry Patter. And patter was appropriate because it's like sales patter when you're talking and you're trying to sell something. So when I saw Horry Patter, I thought, that's it. You know, I found it quite quickly. I didn't have to think about hundreds of different nicknames. And then of course I wanted to secure it as an original name, and it had to be a little bit longer. It had to be something Horry Patter. And there was and still is one person in ALT.ALIEN.RESEARCH and ALT.ALIEN.VISITORS that has the nickname Sir Arthur C.B.E. Wholeflaffers A.S.A. And he is either pretending to be or is truly all for discussion and debate and disclosure about where we are as a planet and a human species in this vast universe. So I decided to take a part of his name so that we could kind of like team up. So he being Sir Arthur C.B.E. or Sir Arthur C.B. Wholeflaffers A.S.A., he or she, got to be careful, you don't take anything for granted. I took that person's Sir from that person's nickname and put it in the front of Horry Patter, and I became Sir Horry Patter. That was way back in the days. And for some reason, later, I changed it from Sir Horry Patter to Sir Gilligan Horry. I think I just wanted something more suitable to me. And I guess one of the main reasons, well I'm sure one of the main reasons that I was happy with Gilligan is because I grew up with Gilligan's Island on TV as a child, and they were in the days when I was watching Doctor Who and watching men land on the moon and a lot of other amazing science fiction on television in the 60s, 70s and 80s. One good thing about Gilligan in Gilligan's Island, he was faced with a situation, and a lot of people would agree that it wasn't a very good situation. And as wonderful as we'd like to hope that the universe and everything is out there, unfortunately it's I mean there's everything and anything you could imagine happening out there in the universe and in our Milky Way galaxy that contains anywhere between 200 and 400 billion suns, or more or less. That's just in our galaxy alone, and there are probably billions, and there are in fact clusters and clouds of galaxies in the universe. So that's where we stand. That's what we're faced with. Everything you could possibly imagine. And Gilligan, from Gilligan's Island, held on to two things. He held on to joy and enthusiasm. Okay, this is one thing that I'm talking about. joy and enthusiasm and hope and happiness and high-spiritedness and on and on. And also, too, he held on to creativity and thinking of new ideas and dealing with the situation around him. So that's how I started. That was in newsgroups when I started posting blogs. You could call them blogs that I was posting, because I've posted, whether short or long, about 100,000 messages and letters and posts to UseNet Newsgroups since about the year 2000. Before that, of course, when I was born, when I was about 5, I watched Men Land on the Moon, and when that television was turned off or the channel was changed, there was Doctor Who. And Doctor Who in those days was spookier than the Doctor Who you get these days, because it was in black and white and it was just eerie. I mean, they were in no person's land. They were just dark and spooky, the old Doctor Who shows. So spooky. And I remember I'm 5 years old, and sometimes I'd be sitting there watching Doctor Who on TV at 4 in the afternoon in Australia on a summer's day, and I would be so spooked out at age 5 years old. It took about 15 minutes for me to come back to normal. So that's where I first started with Outer Space Matters. That means Men Landing on the Moon and Doctor Who. And all of this is documented in my online bio, my website called Project Mothership. You just put that in Google or any other search engine, Project Mothership, and you will find. Just reads this one page, you read from the top to the bottom, and that's my life story right there. So anyway, after Men Landing on the Moon and Doctor Who, later we had Star Wars, and I was 12 years old when I first saw Star Wars at the cinema. After Star Wars, and after a lot of other information that I was studying everywhere I went, started going to the library, the public libraries. I joined the public library in Japan, I joined the public libraries in Australia, and I joined the public libraries in New Zealand. And I would borrow books mainly on astronomy, biology, and UFO books. And all the libraries, everywhere I went, had quite a few books on UFOs. And some people rubbish those books. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, in those days there was so much control and there was so much ridicule that people all around the world are being paid to write rubbish about UFOs and aliens, UFOs and extraterrestrials. Well, one thing that I've realised after years of intense, nearly full-time research into UFOs and extraterrestrials and human activity is that when you're thinking about, or when you're dealing with the universe, the Milky Way galaxy and the universe, I've come to realise that if you can think of it, it's happening out there in the universe. That's how vast it is out there. That gives me hope. That gives me hope for the future of human intelligence, and for the future of this planet Earth, and us as a family, the human family, gives me hope for all of us to have a much better future. It all comes down to thought and creativity and caring and of course love.